And the next thing that leads me to believe that the White House is really invested and really angered by this assassination, and that we're going to see a very forceful response to this assassination down the road, is because when I saw that they used Air Force 2 and Vice President J.D. Vance to escort Charlie Kirk's body back to his home state of Arizona, my guess is, and this is my next warning, is that the White House and President Trump is going to order the Justice Department to start hunting down and arresting violent far leftists that are unhinged and posing a danger to the general public. When that starts happening, we all know how far leftists like to protect criminals and how they react when people like that get arrested. They have a tendency to riot and become violent and attack people and burn down cities and stuff like that. First off, while I am filming this video, I am out in the middle of nowhere where I don't have any access to the internet. And this is a very fast moving story. So by the time that I get back to civilization, if I give information that's outdated in this video or I get some information that's incorrect, just remember that I do not have access to the internet to get the latest information on this. And then in the second half of this video, I am going to give out some warnings that I think that you really want to heed. So you want to make sure that you watch this whole video. Now, the first thing, I think that a lot of people can feel this, but they don't exactly realize it. But I believe that this murder has actually started a domino effect. And now the question is this going to be a fast where the dominoes fall fast, or is this going to be a slow process as what this has set off is going to probably end up happening? Next, this was a flat out cold-blooded murder, assassination of Charlie Kirk. When I heard some people in the media say, hey, this could have been, you know, a celebratory gunfire that accidentally hit Charlie Kirk by one of his own audience members, or this could have been Hamas that assassinated him because of things that he said about Hamas, I just shook my head in belief. This was a cold-blooded political assassination of Charlie Kirk. Next, it is never okay to assassinate or kill somebody because they hold different political views than you. Unless that politician is actively having thousands or millions of people actively killed, like actual Hitler or Pol Pot was, it is not right. It is never right to kill somebody just because they have different political views than you do. For example, I absolutely despised Joe Biden as the president of the United States. But if somebody had assassinated him, I would have been angry and I would have condemned it. And this is something I want to put out there, is that every group of people have people within that group that is on the extreme side and in the fringe. That's why we call them fringe people. And with having said that, I just want to say this next. Many of us are very upset and angry over Charlie Kirk's murder and his assassination. But if there's anybody out there that is angry about it and then thinks that it would be a good idea to assassinate or murder a well-known liberal person as retribution for Charlie Kirk's murder, I just beg of you and I implore you to get that stupid, crazy thought out of your mind. First of all, besides the fact that it is just wrong to kill somebody just because they have different political views than you, second, the liberal leftist part of the Democrat Party right now is going to be taking an extreme beating in the public eye over this murder of Charlie Kirk. I have even seen people that aren't even that political that are absolutely disgusted by that assassination. And these people that are really kind of in the center that's not even really that political, right now they are viewing the far leftists as violent and unhinged people. Right now, there are people that are in the center that are saying, you know what, those crazy leftists that make up too much of the liberal party, of the Democrat Party, those people are crazy, they're unhinged, they're violent. I am going to creep closer to the other side. But if we have somebody that's on the fringe of the conservative side actually go out and assassinate a well-known liberal figure, then we are going to lose those people that's going to be, again, creeping from the center or center left and coming over side. We will lose those people. We will then also start being seen as crazy and unhinged by more than just the radical left. And I have also been just completely sickened by what I have seen leftists post about his murder. I've seen liberals post like, hey, while I abhor gun violence, I don't feel sorry for him that he died because of all the hateful things that he said. Or I've seen some of them just flat out express delight that he was killed. I mean, the amount of people that said that he was saying really hateful things and that he deserved to die just really just blows my mind, because I never, while I heard him say controversial things, stuff that's controversial to far leftists, while I heard him say quote unquote controversial things, I never heard him say anything really hateful. Now, when far left liberals read comments like that, like, oh, he deserved to die because of the hateful things that he said, or I don't, you know, while I abhor gun violence, I don't feel bad that he died. When far leftists read and see comments like that, they already agree with those types of comments because they are far left, they are unhinged, they are violent people. But when average, normal, everyday people see comments like that, that is driving them away, further away from the Democrat Party and more onto our side, seeing the conservative side as being, hey, these are the people that just want to go to work and be left alone and have a normal and sane society. Now, I've also seen liberals passing around a meme or making comments saying that Charlie Kirk had said that we just have to accept that children are going to die in mass school shootings to protect the Second Amendment. And I think what these liberals are doing, so don't accept one of these lies. I think the liberals are taking what he said out of context, because while I've not watched every one of his videos that I've come across, I have never seen him say that it is acceptable that we have mass shootings in schools so that we can keep the Second Amendment. Again, I think that they are taking this out of context, because when I have seen him talk about this subject, what he has said is that while we have guns in our society, there are unfortunately going to be criminals that commit crimes with those guns. And just like that everybody drives a car, there are going to be criminals that commit crimes with those cars, criminals that drive drunk and do stuff like that and kill people. So we need to figure out a way to stop that without taking the cars away from the good people. Or in that case, we need to figure out a way to stop those school shootings without taking guns away from good, law-abiding people. And Charlie himself, he actually advocated for debate, for open discussion, and not for violence. So it was, no matter what some of these liberals tried to say, it was completely unjustified, and it was a sick, brutal, cold-blooded act to kill him because he had differing political views than the person that killed him. And then, of course, differing political views for all the people that are rejoicing in this man's death. Now, let's actually talk about the murderer. And I'm not going to say his name, and I'm not going to show his face on any video of mine, because I will never give infamy to a sick person like that. Now, again, when I'm filming this video, I'm out in the middle of nowhere where I don't have access to the internet, and by the time I get back to civilization where I do have the internet and I post this video, I may say outdated things now, but my suspicion is that his murderer is an Antifa person. And the reason I say that is on one of the shell casings, there was supposed to be reportedly etched into it was Bella Ciao. And if I'm mispronouncing the word Ciao, hey, don't be a grammar police. But anyways, that is a old I think it stands for goodbye fascist or something like that, but it's fascist, it's an anti-fascist song. So another shell casing supposedly had catch this fascist or something close like that etched into it. And with all of these references to fascists, that we know how much Antifa likes to use the word fascist and call everyday Americans like us that just want to work and mind our own business and live in a normal, sane society. We know how much Antifa and people like that love to use the word fascist. And then there's just the obvious here. Antifa has a tendency to be violent. Every time something happens that they don't like, they have a tendency to attack people, injure people, do a lot of property destruction, burn down half a city. So anytime that there is with their violent past, anytime a conservative is injured or hurt in what looks like a politically motivated attack, it's going to be natural for us to look at Antifa to see if they're responsible for it or not. So be certain that as you see all this stuff come out on the news and social media, be certain that you see past the lies. Charlie Kirk was not a fascist. His homicide, his murder, his brutal murder was not justified. And he has never said that it was perfectly acceptable for children to die in mass shootings at school so that we could protect the Second Amendment. And here are some warnings that I think that you really want to pay heed to. Every time something happens that Antifa or far leftists don't like, they riot, they burn down cities, they assault people, etc. On this, with Charlie Kirk's homicide, with that cold-blooded murder that happened against him, what have we done? What has the conservative side done? We have expressed our anger on social media and we have held prayer vigils. But here's something that we need to watch out for, is that if there is a copycat killer, a far leftist copycat killer that kills another well-known conservative figure, I think that we will actually see conservatives go out and actually protest and demonstrate on these homicides, on these attacks that are happening against us. And then when the conservatives are out protesting and demonstrating, then you will have counter-protests by the far leftists. And of course, those counter-protests will probably be violent. And this could actually spread across the country with the two sides really getting violent with each other. And then another thing that we have to be concerned with is that if a fringe person on the conservative side thinks that it would be a good idea to kill a well-known liberal on the left side, then I think that that could spark a tit-for-tat back and forth of political assassinations on both parties, doing it to each other. And again, that would be something that could very easily spread across the country and also cause protests and counter-protests and just more violence on our streets. And then this is something here that I don't think enough people are actually realizing, and I don't think that they realize how the White House is going to be involved in this. And again, this is one of those dominoes that's going to be following, and it's really, I think it's going to affect everybody in the near future as this unfolds. It's my understanding that President Trump and Charlie Kirk were friends. And so my belief is that this has hit home and hurt Trump more than a lot of people realize. Instead of this being where Trump reads about some political assassination of somebody that he does not know, somebody that he does not like, again, I think this is a political assassination of Charlie Kirk, which was somebody that Trump liked, and this would be just like you having a friend that was killed by Antifa. You would have more anger and take it more personally. Plus, you add in the fact that just months ago, somebody tried to shoot Trump in the head and shot him in the ear. And I am sure that Trump watched the video and I wish I wouldn't have seen it myself because it made me sick to my stomach. But I am sure that Trump watched that video of Charlie Kirk being assassinated and realizing, and it really sinking in, seeing something like that really makes it sink into you of what, you know, almost happened to him. So I think, again, he is going to take this more personally than a lot of people are realizing. And the next thing that leads me to believe that the White House is really invested and really angered by this assassination, and that we're going to see a very forceful response to this assassination down the road, is because when I saw that they used Air Force 2 and Vice President J.D. Vance to escort Charlie Kirk's body back to his home state of Arizona, that really led me to believe that if that would not have happened on September 11th, if bringing his body back to Arizona would have occurred on September 10th or September 12th, I really believe that probably would have been Air Force One and actually President Trump himself that would have escorted Charlie's body back to his state. So with seeing these signs of how the White House is invested and angered at the assassination of Charlie Kirk, my guess is, and this is my next warning, is that the White House and President Trump is going to order the Justice Department to start hunting down and arresting violent far leftists that are unhinged and posing a danger to the general public. You know, the Antifa types that pose with pictures of guns saying that they're gonna, that certain politicians should be killed and people like that. And then when that starts happening, we all know how far leftists like to protect criminals and how they react when people like that get arrested. They have a tendency to riot and become violent and attack people and burn down cities and stuff like that. And then, Lord have mercy, if on one of these law enforcement raids against a violent leftist, if that violent leftist gets shot during that raid or that arrest, then the Antifa types are really going to go crazy then and really start burning stuff down and attacking people, etc. So my personal belief is that the assassination of Charlie Kirk was a turning point, was that first domino falling for our country. And I think that we are going to see repercussions from it coming down the turnpike. And I think that these repercussions, whether they're even for the bad guys, for the violent far fringe people, even if those repercussions are only for them, I think that we are all going to feel some type of repercussion, some kind of a ripple effect from what happened. So now I'd like to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the subject? What did I miss? Hey, comment down below, but just please do it respectfully. And with this being a prepping channel, I just want to remind you that in a grid down situation when you just can't run to the doctor or to the pharmacy, a simple scratch could become infected and end up costing you your life. So to see a whole bunch of different videos that shows you how you can use common plants around you where you can make your own prepper medicine that could treat stuff like cuts to keep them from becoming infected, or if you go into a grid down situation with type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure or ailments like that, then click on the video that should be appearing on the screen just about now to learn what most other preppers don't know. Anyways, folks, this is enough internet for me today. I do need to actually cook my dinner, but folks, if you made it this far, hey, thank you very much for watching, and I pray that you have a good night.